Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Okay, you can tell me when to start, okay? Because I can see only few people over here. So just tell me when to start.
There are only 7-8 people. Can we wait for 2-3 minutes?
Yeah, we'll wait for 5 minutes and then start, okay?
Okay.
So, okay, let us start now. So, good evening to all of you. So, now maybe most probably for this particular batch, I may have the last 2 or 3 session left. So, I thought, we have discussed a lot. You people have done a wonderful job on chatbots and many other projects also. Though the cybersecurity people, those who are doing cybersecurity and all those people have not shown me anything. What I was thinking is that, yes, somebody is saying something. Okay, good evening. So what I was thinking is that because initially when I was asking you people that what kind of topics you want to learn and how do you want to connect. So I thought a lot during the last few days, and I thought that let me focus on the topic which were actually demanded from you, and also I thought that these are the emerging things which are evolving, and how AI and even the cloud computing and even the cybersecurity students, how they can, how this particular these technologies are useful for them. So having a knowledge about this, because those are the skills which you people develop, there will be a kind of a unique credit added to your profile, and you will have a very good profile. So what I thought is let me focus on it, because after I do the session, or maybe most of you may have known already about this, we can go ahead and you can just develop your interest and do certain deep delving course on that and develop your skills in that. So today I thought of talking about certain kinds of emerging technology, starting with fintech. So let me share my PPT. Okay. So now all of you can see the screen. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So we start with some even some examples also, which I wanted to actually give you, but I could not, because those are something which is happening around the world, and those are very interesting things which are happening, and how different kinds of companies are coming, or new companies are emerging, and these new companies are coming up with the new projects, especially towards environment conversation, conservation of environment and all those kinds. So let's start with that. So the first, I what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about in this session three things. The first is a case study which I wanted to discuss with you from a long time, and which is on AI. And second is the fintech technology, where we will cover the blockchain and cryptocurrency today. And the third is metaverse. Okay. So the world of metaverse. And then let's see in the next session, I can take some feedback from you people, and we can try to talk about that. I'll prepare myself, get some information from my colleagues in the industry and try. So I was actually watching a wild, that Discovery Channel, and in that particular channel, I got this particular documentary, and I was very much interested. And from that time, I thought that I must share this particular case study. And luckily, I found this case study on website, on a particular site of the company who's doing this. So this website or this particular case says, can technology help in protecting the endangered species? So there is an organization which is called Wild Track, and the Wild Track, basically what they do is, this is an environmental organization which basically specialize in monitoring wildlife. They track and they protect endangered wildlife in African landscape. So they started using AI to recreate animal tracking skill at a larger scale. Because in a big jungle, like for example in South Africa or Africa, it is impossible to track how many animals are there, what are the different species of animals, and what is happening to those animals. So there are a lot of poaching which happens, a lot of illegal killing of tigers, cheetah, and all these were happening. So the major task of this particular company was to track and monitor the endangered animals, especially the cheetah. They were tracking that because cheetah's population is going down by that. I'll take you to the website and we'll see that. And so they wanted to know how many cheetahs are there, because they cannot just physically go catch every cheetah in one place, collect them, bring them, and start counting. So it's a huge jungle in acres and acres. So it is impossible to find out that how many cheetahs are there, how many baby, pups are there, and how many, cubs are there, and how many of them are already killed. And how do you protect them if they know the number? So what they did, they started using AI, and for this AI, they collected the footprint of these cheetahs. And this footprint of the cheetah was subjected to train the AI model to understand the, uh, to understand not only that whether it is a footprint of a cheetah, but the footprint also could tell them that this is a footprint of male cheetah or female, and what is the age of that. How it is possible from the footprint, that is something very interesting. So what they did is they actually took the help of indigenous trackers. Indigenous trackers are the local people who are very well versed with the forest, and these are the people who can, from the footprint of the cheetah, can make out, or any animal footprint, they can say that how many animals are there, which animal footprint is, whether it is a male or female, or how many numbers of this. So these local indigenous trackers who are illiterates but have the expertise to identify and classify the from the footprint whether it is cheetah and what kind of cheetah it is and how many can be there, they can identify the number. Now the major problem and the thing happened when they have to collect all these pictures, they have to learn the expert knowledge, because AI will train the model using the expert knowledge, and the expert knowledge comes from where? Comes from these indigenous trackers who are illiterate forest local people. So these people started telling, if the image is like this, the footprint is like this is a male or female or whatever it is, and they started taking the pictures. Not only they took the pictures of all kind of cheetahs, took the knowledge of these expert local indigenous tracker and faded into the AI system to classify from the footprint whether it is cheetahs or any others, or it is a male or female, and also the age. Not only this, they did a crowdsourcing, and they came up on their source. I'll just show you on the website. I'll take you to the website. And they asked everybody in the world to send if they have any images or collection of the pictures of these cheetahs footprint, and if they can tell also what footprint it is and when it has been taken from which area. So this has helped them so much that they could not only identify that the cheetahs are there, how many are there, how many male and female, and also they can track and monitor them apart from cameras and whatever it is. Okay, so let's go to this website. Okay, just give me a few seconds. So I will take you to the website where this particular thing, I'm going to share it with you. It's an interesting one. There's a video also which is posted by this company. This is a company's website, the company who has created this AI solution. So let's go through now. Can you all see? Can anybody tell me?
Yes, ma'am. We can.
Okay. So this company name is called SAS Vidya Analytic, if you can see the name here. So the company is basically an NGO. So the company is SAS. They actually collaborated with one NGO and they started. So you can read about this company. I'm going to put the in the chat this particular thing. So later on, you can just go through this website. There are a lot of AI related project. So you people can go through these AI related project apart from what I'm discussing. There are a lot of projects in this which they have actually discussed with you. So you can see that here it is written, can artificial intelligence help protecting this animal from extinction? The answer lies in the footprint. So let's see this video. This is a promotional video pleading people to save these endangered animals. So we'll see this first.
My name is Lisa. I like living in Namibia because Namibia is beautiful. There are all the animals and plants. There are some people who want to kill animals like the lions and cheetahs. I like to teach them. There are not many left.
"100 years ago, we had somewhere in the region of 100,000 cheetahs in the world. Today, the number stands at just 7,100. And these are flagship species. As they disappear, they represent the disappearance of a huge chunk of the biodiversity that goes with them.
Biodiversity is what supports all the things that we need as humans, and yet it's disappearing much faster than any of us realize.
So the video is loading again. Just give you a second.
Footprints to identify species, age class, individuals, and sex. Do you have any thoughts about whether it's male or female? What do you think?
It's not something right.
You can see that this is the company called WildTrack, which has collaborated with an AI company called SAS. And this is the Namibia village. And this is an indigenous tracker. Those are all, tribal people who live in the forest and they know everything. So their expert knowledge they have used and the images to basically train the AI model. So let's see this.
It means that it's a female. Right.
So it's interesting that our algorithm is picking up some of the things that you're doing in your mind, right?
We came up with a mathematical model. And this is where SAS comes in, starting with importing images, and then we use those to derive the metrics, which then allows us to do the analysis.
We're depending on data and analytics to protect these animals, and now we're beginning crowdsourcing from around the world. So ordinary people who wouldn't necessarily be able to dart a rhino, but they can take an image of a footprint. We've got data coming in from everywhere, too many data for us to manage traditionally, and that's really where artificial intelligence comes in.
The big question is, can artificial intelligence do what indigenous trackers can do?
When we see an indigenous tracker look at a footprint, we realize there's a huge gulf between that and what machine intelligence is currently able to do. It's just millions of years of evolution that have allowed us to be able to identify these patterns. And it's a big challenge in image processing.
Yeah.
Identifying footprints is a very tedious process to be able to sort and classify them. So to be able to take that one task that's a repetitive task and automate it seemed like a natural fit for an AI solution. And it required a lot of expertise and insight from Zoe and Sky to help us train the computer to categorize the footprints the same way a human tracker would.
So essentially what the heat map is attempting to do is to pick up those edges.
This heat map is kind of visualizing what our deep learning model is looking at and just thinking that part of images is important to distinguish it's a cheetah print or a tiger print.
The red section is a bit that's actually standing out as representing the footprint.
Yeah, because we are predicting the footprint.
So we overlay. Getting 100% accuracy in this project is very challenging, but we'll get there. For this one, we need more data. We need more scientists to contribute to this project so that we can really solve this problem.
I'm excited about the potential of artificial intelligence because I think that one of the hugest challenges we face is how to protect our planet, our ecosystem. And the way that we can solve this is by bringing in data from all parts of the world in a hugely magnified scale, much, much more than we have at the present. These data have incredible value in conservation. If we don't know where the animals are and how many there are, we can't begin to do things like working out where animals should be protected, looking at animal-human conflict. These are all global conservation questions that conservation biologists all over the world need answers to.
I think we exist in a world today trying to use artificial intelligence. And our challenge is how to harness this in order to answer some of the most fundamental questions and create an environment where there's room for us and all the rest of the species in this world.
Okay. So you have seen that what they are doing. So we will just go ahead and see their major project. So you see basically what they were trying to do with the AI is to collect all kinds, varieties of data, right? The images of the footprints in whatever, angles they could, and tracking the behavior or understanding the expert knowledge of this indigenous tracker, and try to make the system, AI system, to learn how to identify from the footprint about the cheetahs, the way these people mind work. So they wanted to replicate the expertise and the knowledge of these people into the AI system. Okay. So now you can see here, these are the footmarks. The tracker tell a collective story which holds, and the tracker can tell also how many cheetahs are there from there. So where are they going? How many are left? So much to learn from this footprint of endangered species. See, so artificial intelligence help us creating some of the skill used by the indigenous tracker. This is what was shown. So wild track researchers are exploring the value of AI can bring to conservation. So AI solutions are designed to enhance human efforts, not to replace them. With the deep learning given enough data, when you have to feed enough data of the image data, the computer can be trained to perform human-like expertise tasks, such as identifying the footprint image, recognize the pattern in the same way the indigenous tracker are doing, and ability to apply this concept as much larger scales and more rapid. So again, you can click on this and you can read that what is possible with AI. So I'm not going to do that in an elaborate way, but I'll just show you that go to this website. All of you should go to this website and see their project, what they are doing it. Okay. So apart from that, there are some people who, so this is there. Now, this is again one more thing. So this is the SaaS company. So AI solution, augmenting human creativity and all. So you can try this particular solution also free. So all those people who are doing AI should go to this website and try this. Okay. So it has from machine learning to computer vision, NLP, everything is there. So you can just go ahead and see their products. You can learn about it. It's going to really help you a lot. Okay. So now I'll just go back to these things. So they developed something called FIT, the footprint identification technique. And this is a tool for monitoring endangered species through digital image of footprints. And these images are then customized by a mathematical model. And that helped to identify which species footprint it is, what is the sex and what is the age of that animal. So AI is trying to adapt the expertise of these indigenous tracker. So you can read about that. So this is a very nice site. You have a lot of research, see research on cheetah. 93% of the cheetahs has declined over the past few. 76 are in the Africa, 76% of the entire world population. So you can go through this. Now, what they have done in order to get more and more number of, because see, AI work better with 100% accuracy if you feed, good amount of data. So what they did in order to get more number of pictures and this, they crowdsource. Crowdsourcing means open to the public platform, pledge that people who are in the forest or those who are basically these kinds of people who are adventurous and who goes, who try to track and who does all these kinds of steps can feed the data and send the data to them. So this wild track data started coming from every part of the world for them. And in this way, they could actually, let the AI train with a accuracy with huge volume of data. And this was a challenge that how do they harness the AI to create the environment where the room. So all these kinds of things are there. So please go to this website, okay, and make sure that you learn these are. This is a very interesting project which I saw in one of the my I am Bangalore. One of the student was presenting and he spoke about this particular project, and it's very fascinating. So you people can go ahead and do that. Now let's start with something which some of you have asked for, which is about blockchain and fintech technology. So let's start that. Just give me a few. Okay. So all of you can see the the screen. Okay. So we're going to talk about the fintech.
Yes, ma'am.
So fintech is a very still evolving and a technology which is still at a very nascent stage. So there's a lot of development already happening in this area, and already there are a lot of things on the fintech which is already developed. So what is actually fintech? So fintech is basically a technology which is used for doing financial kinds of analysis. So financial technology is called fintech. Okay. So initially, maybe a few years back, 4 or 5 years back, the back-end technology which was used by the financial service institution like bank and all, that was called fintech. But today it has become more than that. And one of the major technology which is used in developing the fintech solutions are AI or machine learning, even cloud computing is a part of it. So today, and even the cyber security, because anyway, anything you make, you need to make sure that you build a security around that. So today the term has become so broadened, so widened. New technology innovations are happening in financial sectors. So when we talk about fintech, always we think about blockchain, cryptocurrency, robo advisors, crowdfunding, right? Then P2P, peer-to-peer lending, that also we're going to talk. And so fintech enhance the financial activity through the application of technology. So in case if you want to specialize, some of you may be specialized or maybe very good in finance, or some of you may be from management. So in order to develop your skill and go into this particular line, there are a lot of soft skills which are required, which is same as any other. But what matter is the hard skills, the technical skills. So what is a hard skill you require to go into this? So if you see the fintech, fintech scope for the future, you'll see 80% of the technology and 70% of the technology and 75% of the financial service organizations are creating job related to fintech. So today in the bank, in the financial institutions, you require people who have these skills, who can develop fintech solution or who can work with fintech technology. So this is the kind of prediction which is done, and I've taken it from Global Fintech Report. So this is a genuine report. So the soft skill which you require is common. I'm not going to focus on that. Now, main focus is what you should learn and what skill you should develop to get a job related to fintech. So first one is the financial fundamental. You should have the knowledge of finance. Okay, management knowledge, commerce, accounting, and all those kinds of knowledge is must. So that is one thing. The second one is called the blockchain and cryptocurrency knowledge. I'm not saying that you should know how to, mine the bitcoins and all, but at least the knowledge that how it works and all those kinds. Then very important is machine learning. Okay, and machine learning application in finance using Python. Python is recognized by HackerRank, one of the biggest company in research, as a faster growing language in finance. So the financial technologies are more commonly, which are called fintech, is one of the very hottest area of development in finance and even technology. So fintech does not have a very precise definition that what kind of technology actually could be considered. But whenever we get the name of fintech, always we think of blockchain, always we think of cryptocurrency, always we think of robot advisor, always we think of online trading, lending, crowdfunding. These are certain areas where the fintech is focusing now. So let's take some example in the field of finance to understand that where do you find and where do you see the example of fintech in the field of finance. So one example of the fintech is the use of banking apps on your mobile phone. Okay, this is not the banking app, but if you're using a banking, all banks have now apps, right? Those app, you have an app especially for even for an e-passbook also on your smartphone. So nowadays hardly anybody goes to physically to the bank. So fintech also involved financial data being collected and transmitted through sensor connected to internet. That is also sensors and IoTs. Mostly people feel that it is a part of manufacturing or any other, but financial institutions are also using the sensor. A sensor in the factory, for example, the sensor in the factory, which we normally see of loan customer to monitor the production quantity, sensor confirming a vehicle usage detail for auto insurance. So auto insurance company can always, cars will have a sensor where it can tell what is a number, what is a kilometer it has, traveled. Then the webcam, which is monitoring the traffic, the foot traffic near the shopping mall to help determining the rental, what can be the rental of that particular area, because if the area is very crowded, a lot of people come over there, then maybe the rental may be high. So you can estimate the the kind of pricing you can charge in real estates for that particular place, especially for commercial properties. Fintechs is an artificial program which explore huge amount of data to detect pattern, or it is also able to do prediction, forecasting, financial modeling. All those are basically, and also it comes with the designing or tailoring the need, understanding the need of individual customers in terms of financial investments and do that. So fintech basically is used by the investment banking to predict the stock performance. That is also one of the way to do that, like your mutual fund and all those kinds. The company also understand through the fintech technology that which are the investors from which they can borrow the funds, and who are the new investor, what's the interest rate going on, and what will be the consequences in the future in terms of repayment. Or if they are banking or lending money, they can understand through the fintech solutions that whether these particular borrowers will turn into NPA or not, non-performing assets. So fintech, again, one of the major fintech, so this is the stock also is using investment. One of the major technology which everybody focus in the fintech is blockchain, which we will discuss in the next slide. So blockchain basically replaces a centralized database of financial institution, and it store all the information in a very secure way, all the data, which is cryptographically secured, and many computers in the network on many computers. It is not like one computer. The computers will keep a part of information, like it is fragmented. So the cryptography is one of the highest used tool in the fintech. And similarly, the cryptocurrency also, the electronic currency, which is not controlled by any bank or any government or any particular private entity. So many people spend a lot of time, during the COVID, sitting at home. They were not able to go to the bank. They were not able to pay the money. They were very scared of using those physical note in their hand. So COVID-19 accelerated the growth of fintech. So from 2020, there is a jump in the growth of the fintech. You yourself will have a personal experience. Like, for example, the last year, I experienced, during the COVID time, I experienced this flexibility in the fintech rather than from traditional banking. I wanted to actually send money, a little gift to, my relatives, and they were in need. They didn't have job. They lost the job. And I wanted to send some help to them. So if I was doing a bank transfer, and the amount which I wanted to send, the bank restricted me from making a one-time send. So what it did, I had to send the money to my relative in pieces. That means in fragment. So every day I were allowed to do certain kinds of transaction. That much only I was paying. So I thought, why should I do that? Because in one shot I should pay. So I then found out about fintech, and then I used PayPal account. And I connected this PayPal account with my bank account, and it helped. I was able to make all the transfer in 5 minutes because my relative was not in India. They were there in some other part of the world. So PayPal took the money from my bank account, sent it to my relative. So you use this flexibility arrangement of fintech to overcome the bank restriction. So my experience on that fintech was very good. So when you were at home, almost all of us make the payment using some kind of a app like payment wallet and all. You can sit in the tea shop, for example, in Bangalore, even the the vegetable vendors, and nowadays even the chai walas also, any shop will have a now payment wallet thanks to COVID. Okay, so this is how the fintech is picking up now. From last few years, we also see the growth of cryptocurrency. Most of the time in the WhatsApp, I get added to a group who are doing trading in the cryptocurrency, the investment in cryptocurrency. And I come out, exit the group, again I become a part of some other group. So cryptocurrency people are arranging. There are a lot of my students who are business management students. One of the students, I think before COVID, we were talking about the blockchain, which was a very new concept at that time. I think 2019 I was talking about. And he suddenly came out to the class and he said, ma'am, I'm a cryptocurrency miner. And I laughed at him. I said, what are you talking? How can you be a miner? Then he said, no, ma'am. I really, do that. And then I found out that, and the way he told me that, how can I show you a video on that? I don't know exactly how to mine, but then he said, ma'am, it is not so good, bad. And few months back, I just called him over the phone and I said, can you just take a session and tell the students that how do you mine the cryptocurrency? He said, ma'am, now it is very difficult. That was the time. So cryptocurrency mining, all these things are not so big. It can be done by anybody. It's not like the currency controlled by the government. So let us look into these technologies now. Okay. So, so this was the big together. So we will first talk about the blockchain. So this is the most talked about fintech area, the blockchain. Now, what is blockchain? The answer is blockchain is a 21st century version of a very old tool, which my generation or maybe my previous generation has seen in the bank also, called ledger book. I don't know, maybe some of you may, you know, might have seen it, or some of you, the youngsters, may not have seen this, but these are the old style accounting style ledgers, where you went through, you wrote one transaction or one item in each line, you filled up the page for bookkeeping purpose, then you flipped the page, right, and you kept it blank, one transaction and the name of that particular entity, and you keep it blank. So whatever is inflow and outflow, you will put it here in that page. So blockchain fulfills essentially the same function. This is the easiest way I can, make you understand. So blockchain is actually, if you see in the internet, it's a distributed, secure log file, just like a ledger. What that means is that we have got many different people that can access this ledger book. In traditional ledger book, only one person will possess this, and he will have a right to write in the bank, like the teller of the bank and all these. They will write all the transaction. But this is a called distributed ledger technology, DLT technology, distributed ledger technology. That's a technology where one ledger book entry can be done by multiple people, and is a digital system for recording transaction and multiple places at the same time. So it doesn't mean that one person is writing and he owns the ledger book. So the transactions can be entered by multiple people at multiple places at the same time in the ledger book. So each computer in a blockchain network maintains a copy of the ledger to prevent a single point of failure. And all copies are updated and validated simultaneously. So the ledger book is protected by a very secure, super secure, you can say, username and password. And it contains a complete record of every transaction that is ever recorded on the blockchain. Now the blockchain first popularized was kind of, people, when we're talking about blockchain, everybody was thought it is about Bitcoins. But the reality is that these days it's grown far beyond that. Blockchain, recently one of my students' research got published, and it was the blockchain in social networking site. So the blockchain is not only related to finance, it has now been, the concept of blockchain technology is now applied in all kinds of things. Okay, just a minute. Huh? So the blockchain is also about digital currency, about Bitcoins, Litcoins, Ethereum, Ripple, Monero, etc., whatever is available in the market, that is there. So if you think that Bitcoin as an example is the only example, or does the blockchain have any other future or any other application rather than Bitcoin, so it is totally wrong, because blockchain enables any sort of asset transfer. If you see here, the use of, so one major use of the blockchain is developing or mining the Bitcoins, the cryptocurrency. And the one major thing which I understood was asset transfer. Let me give you an example. For example, if you're buying a house and you have to go through a lot of things, like you have to search the place, you have to do a survey of the pricing, the homeowner inspection, whether this is a legal property belong to him or not. A lot of things you have to do. And the process of the closing a deal on buying the house take months because of these process. And then registration process and all those. Blockchain can speed up the process. Essentially, any asset transfer from the electric grid to stock to bond trading can be done on blockchain within few, period of time, a shorter period of time. So blockchain is similar to something. So asset transfer can be done easily. Everything can be digitally transferred. Everything can be tracked. Your transaction can be tracked and done with the multiple people at the same time. So multiple people, your registration, your owner, and everybody at the same time access the same ledger book and enter, and they can file, they can do the taxation, everything is done at the same time. In India, it is not so much used, but I'm just giving you example from the other companies who are using it. So when we talk about blockchain, it is very similar to Wikipedia, students. People can write, like in Wikipedia, you can edit the information and all. Similarly, here people can write the entry in the blockchain system, and a common community of user control, how that information is amended. I'll show you in AWS how it is done, then you will have an idea. So blockchain can automate all of these, make it easier, faster, simple, while the process of keeping a track of assets is unique to the blockchain technology, that you're all, everything, whatever single transaction of any amount is tracked, that who has done, what is the amount, when it was done, everything. So you can't cheat. It's a very secure financial transaction environment. So let us understand how blockchain and this DLT technology, distributed ledger technology work. So blockchain has multiple step process. How it works? So let us see. So the first step in the blockchain is that an authorized participant input a transaction which must be authenticated by the technology. So you use any app, I will show you in AWS, and you are authenticated. Then the second step comes that the action created, this particular action create a block. That's why it's called block. That represent the specific transaction or data information. Then the third is the block is sent to every computer node in the network. The fourth step is the authorized node verify the transaction, add the block to the existing chain, add that block into the chain. That means the node in the public blockchain network, which are referred as by this, which is the proof of work, which is called POW, right? And the last step is the update is distributed across the network, which finalize the transaction. So these steps take place in close to real time and involve range of element. So let's see, the video on this. So what are the companies or what are the examples of this? So there are some examples which I can tell you. In April 2021, Live Nation SaaS, just the company which I have shown you. So they have one more branch on financial fintech. It's a France-based operation of the global entertainment company. They launched something called Tixto.me. You can also go through that. There's this, you can find out this on the net. It was powered in, and it was a blockchain company. Then there was, in 2021, there was something which evolved and everybody started talking about that was NFTs, non-fungible tokens. And the growing number of people started embracing this technology, and that's also part of blockchain. The NFT is digital assets, which can be anything from the real world into digital form. It can be a piece of music, it can be a equipment, it can be a gold, it can be traded online, and you can buy that with the help of the cryptocurrency or anything. In October 2020, PayPal, the online payment platform, also launched a new services that enable the user to buy, hold, and sell cryptocurrency. Now there are a lot of apps like that where you can do cryptocurrency trading. In 2020, blockchain company, there was one blockchain company called Theta Labs. They partnered with Google Cloud, and they also came up with a blockchain network. Similarly, there was one more company called Ticketmaster, the entertainment ticketing software like Book My Show and all. In 2018, they also brought the blockchain technology provided company called Upgraded, and started making a traditional ticket tracking system using that. So apart from that, Ethereum blockchain is widely used. It's an open source, and the custom built blockchain platform, anybody can use that. So you can go ahead One more is there, which is open source and it is widely used. It's called the Hyper Fabric, which is the open source blockchain platform. So you can go to Ethereum or Hyper Ledger Fabric and you can use it for finance, even for manufacturing also. And these are designed for permission network. So Hyperledger Fabric can also be used for decentralized hosting. So let us see that how this blockchain work, just how the blocks are added in the chain and how the information is created and how it is tracked so that nobody can do a fraud. So let's watch a video on this.
Blockchains are incredibly popular nowadays. But what is a blockchain? How do they work? What problems do they solve? And how can they be used? Like the name indicates, a blockchain is a chain of blocks that contains information. This technique was originally described in 1991 by a group of researchers and was originally intended to timestamp digital documents so that it's not possible to backdate them or to tamper with them, almost like a notary. However, it went by mostly unused until it was adapted by Satoshi Nakamoto in 2009 to create the digital cryptocurrency Bitcoin. Now, a blockchain is a distributed ledger that is completely open to anyone. They have an interesting property. Once some data has been recorded inside a blockchain, it becomes very difficult to change it. So how does that work? Well, let's take a closer look at a block. Each block contains some data, the hash of the block, and the hash of the previous block. The data that is stored inside a block depends on the type of blockchain. The Bitcoin blockchain, for example, stores the details about a transaction in here, such as the sender, receiver, and the amount of coins. A block also has a hash. You can compare a hash to a fingerprint. It identifies a block and all of its contents, and it's always unique, just as a fingerprint. Once the block is created, its hash is being calculated. Changing something inside the block will cause the hash to change. So in other words, hashes are very useful when you want to detect changes to blocks. If the fingerprint of a block changes, it no longer is the same block. The third element inside each block is the hash of the previous block. And this effectively creates a chain of blocks, and it's this technique that makes a blockchain so secure. Let's take an example. Here we have a chain of 3 blocks. As you can see, each block has a hash and the hash of the previous block. So block number 3 points to block number 2, and number 2 points to number 1. Now the first block is a bit special. It cannot point to previous blocks because, well, it's the first one. We call this block the Genesis block. Now let's say that you tamper with the second block. This causes the hash of the block to change as well. In turn, that will make block 3 and all following blocks invalid because they no longer store a valid hash of the previous block. So changing a single block will make all following blocks invalid. But using hashes is not enough to prevent tampering. Computers these days are very fast and can calculate hundreds of thousands of hashes per second. You could effectively tamper with a block and recalculate all the hashes of other blocks to make your blockchain valid again. So to mitigate this, blockchains have something that is called proof of work. It's a mechanism that slows down the creation of new blocks. In Bitcoin's case, it takes about 10 minutes to calculate the required proof of work and add a new block to the chain. This mechanism makes it very hard to tamper with the blocks because if you tamper with one block, you'll need to recalculate the proof. So the security of a blockchain comes from its creative use. The network. other nodes in the network. So to successfully tamper with a blockchain, you'll need to tamper with all the blocks on the chain, redo the proof of work for each block, and take control of more than 50% of the peer-to-peer network. Only then will your tampered block become accepted by everyone else. So this is almost impossible to do. Blockchains are also constantly evolving. One of the most recent developments is the creation of smart contracts. These contracts are simple programs that are stored on the blockchain and can be used to automatically exchange coins based on certain conditions. More on smart contracts in a later video. The creation of blockchain technology piqued a lot of people's interest. Soon others realized that this technology could be used for other things, like storing medical records, creating a digital notary, or even collecting taxes. So now you know what a blockchain is, how it works on a basic level, and what problems it solves. Want to learn how you can implement a simple blockchain in JavaScript? Then check out this video here. And as always, thank you very much for watching.
Okay, so you people, those who are learning JavaScript can go for this. So,
Blockchain.
let's talk about Bitcoins. So you might have heard about Bitcoins. And we all know that Bitcoin is the first successful P2P digital currency. We were talking about P2P, peer-to-peer digital currency. That means that Bitcoin is nothing more than a series of letters and numbers on computer screen. It doesn't look like a gold, or it doesn't look like a coin or a paper bill or something, which doesn't actually sound normal. That how can it has a value when it is a combination of certain kinds of letters and numbers? So how can a series of a letter on a computer screen have any value? When you think about a green piece of a paper out of your wallet, which is a money, or a pink piece of paper, not green, pink, green is dollar. So pink piece of paper, it really give you a sense that it's a value in your hand, because it is pink in color, or maybe it has certain, things which you know that it is a value. It's a rectangle. It has a, the picture of Mahatma Gandhi on it. So it has a sequence. But in case of Bitcoins, it doesn't look like that. It is very opposite to that. It will contain a sequence of letter and number, right? And which doesn't look like a valid tender. So cryptocurrency Bitcoin was launched in 2009, and it was a very popular application which were used in generating that. That was a blockchain. Blockchain is always associated with Bitcoins. Alternative can be dodgy coins also, the Bitcoin Cash. The Bitcoin works the same way. The value of Bitcoin is driven by the acceptance from the community of the user and the government. Like in India, most of the transactions are not valid if it is done through the Bitcoins, but it is coming slowly. So Bitcoins comes built in with an accounting system, which is a blockchain, which keeps a record of all the transactions that occurs. Just now you saw that how a unique block is created for every transaction, which contain the information about the sender, receiver, then the transaction, and also contain a very unique validity, which is called hash. And if you change, or somebody try to misuse or hack it, it is very difficult to do that, because it is going to change, because it's a network. It's a distributed ledger. Everybody is looking. So your thing will not get accepted. So that's very difficult. So similarly, so Bitcoin also come with built-in accounting system. Okay. So this built-in accounting system, the blockchain, which is called blockchain, it records all the transaction of the Bitcoins. So it will have its own sets of auditors and accountants. And people who generate these are not government, who are not minting minting coins or printing the paper notes and all. They are called miners. They are people who can be anybody. It can be you also if you know it. So a lot of people think the purpose of miner is to only generate Bitcoin, but that's not the purpose. But most of the part, it is the purpose. So the purpose of the miner is to make sure that the system is working as it should be, and there should be no fakes. no counterfeiting of coin. So every Bitcoin is unique in nature. Bitcoin is limited to cap of 20 million coins over a time. Bitcoin is built around three parts of the blockchain, which I've shown in the slide. The private key cryptography, which protect the access of the user to the Bitcoins. The distributed network, which record all the Bitcoin transaction. And then the last is mining, which audit those transactions. So Bitcoin is again deflationary. So the number of the user grow. Deflationary means that the value, deflation means the value comes down if the number of the user grow. The number of the Bitcoins only grow at a very slow and slower pace if the number of users start mining it. So because of that, Bitcoin is divisible out to 8 decimal places. Okay. So when we say that Bitcoin is divided by 8 decimal places, then the two places associated with it is compared with the US dollar, which is a universal dollar in the world. And very attractive feature of the Bitcoin is that there is a minimum transaction fees to generate Bitcoin or to use Bitcoin. So anybody can transact over a Bitcoin blockchain with a kind of a transaction fees. And because there is no central authority behind it, no government behind it, Bitcoin is conscience driven. And the downside, the disadvantage of the Bitcoin is again that there is no central authority, no government, which means that if someone steals your Bitcoin or cheat you on some fashion, is there anywhere you can go and appeal? Can you file a case? Can government help you in that? So nobody can force the reversal of this Bitcoin transaction once it is done. There is a transaction fees which is associated with the Bitcoin, but they are like a tip. So these transaction fees get paid to the Bitcoin miners, right, who are really in the form of generating. Suppose if you have an excess of mined coin and your income is generating, so you are paying those transaction fees to use it also. So those fees are voluntary. There is no force, there's no law related to that because it's not by government. Like for example, you're going to a restaurant and there is a waiter who comes. It is not compulsory that you should give a tip. It is your wish. So similarly, the transaction fees is also like a wish, but if you don't give, it doesn't work. So people normally give little bit or whatever amount they want to give. It is depending on that. So you pay a transaction fees basically to get the miner to review your transaction. That is the attraction. Like in the restaurant, when you pay the waiter, next time when you come, he will give you a better service. So similarly, the transaction fees is willingly paid to the miners who are generating the Bitcoins to review your transaction and generate a record of it. So that's the crux system of, or the main system of Bitcoin. Mining goes down over a time, the fees, transaction fees ramp up, and mining goes down, the transaction fees for every Bitcoin transaction will become very, very high. So idea is that Bitcoin over the time is growing. There is a large community of users who are using and doing transactions using the Bitcoin trading also online, lending also using the online. So in a future, we will see that the digital currencies are going to grow. So most of these currency, which are called also cryptocurrencies, are actually going to grow over the year of time. It's not going to go away. So the cryptocurrency normally can be mined. If you are a miner, if you know what technology, it's a very high configuration computer you require to generate the Bitcoin. And if you are a miner, you can generate. And or otherwise, the next method is you can purchase the cryptocurrency from there are a lot of cryptocurrency exchange which is now being set up. Or maybe somebody is giving you the Bitcoin or you're rewarded on the blockchain. Certain e-commerce sites accept cryptocurrency for transactions, like Amazon, not in India, but in US and all, it accepts. Cryptocurrencies, the popular one like Bitcoins are, used by even China also in certain kind of cost transactional also kind of transactions. So black marketeers also try to, black marketer actually can't use cryptocurrency because they're all kind of their transactions is recorded. So Bitcoin has a beauty that every transaction which you do, a single Bitcoin transaction, everything is recorded. So you can't hide your transaction. Okay. So, so this is what I was telling you about, that regulatory is not there. So all these kinds need to be developed now. So cryptocurrencies are the major area of fintech. So it is very essential that we should understand what is the technology behind cryptocurrency, how to design these cryptocurrency, what are the medium of exchanging this cryptocurrency for commerce, for buying and selling online, what will be the channel for that. Unlike the traditional currency, they are backed up, traditional currencies are backed up by government or by European Union, like Euro and all. But behind the cryptocurrency, till at present, there's no central agency, there is no authority. So most of these cryptocurrency have no physical form. There is almost no physical form at all. Okay. And the coin themselves are the alphanumeric sequence, which I said, which get assigned to essentially an account, a digital wallet. So digital wallet in the blockchain keep a track of these currencies, the inflow and outflow of these currencies. And the very important thing of the cryptocurrency from the technical perspective is that unlike traditional currency, cryptocurrencies are impossible to duplicate and counterfeit. That's one of the best beauty of this. And there are a lot of advanced programming which goes behind that. And these, so yes.
Ma'am, can I interrupt? I have a question.
Yeah, please tell me.
Ma'am, when I want to store something of my information on the blockchain, so
Yeah.
for that I create a block.
Yeah.
Okay. So on my own, can I add it to the blockchain or I need the assistance of the miners?
No, you will need an assistant. See, I will just show you. What's your name?
Chandrakant, ma'am.
So Chandrakant, I will just show you in Amazon. You will have an idea. When you are building a kind of a blockchain thing, you have to build a community. In that community, there will be a group of people who voluntarily come. In that community, there will be miners. So those miners will help you in creating a block of your transaction. And all your data related to your transaction will be added to the chain in that particular community. For example, Ethereum community you can join, or maybe certain apps or certain things which are available. So you can join that, and then in that particular thing, the miner will be there and all these people will be there. And these people help you in adding a block to the blockchain, or else you should be a miner. But Amazon also help you in creating a community, which I will show you now. Okay.
And also, ma'am, when I create a block and want it to be authenticated by the miners, and miners authenticate it, how they will come to know that the information in the block is genuine or it's the truth? How they will authenticate it?
See, if it is a Bitcoin transaction, so it will be genuine, because that there you can't do anything counterfeiting or any fakeness in that. But if you are storing any other kind of information, what is stored inside the Bitcoin, the information which is stored in the Bitcoin is verified by the miners. There is an auditor. Miners do the auditor. I told you also in the previous slides that auditing is done. So one technology is this, which is also in the form of contract, the master contract or various kinds. So that's also one technology where it try to identify the genuinity and the what is the truth behind what information you are storing. To a certain extent, they can do it, but there's no legal implication. Even if you are storing something and it is proved to be illegal, or if it is proved to be something like that, you can't, they can't do anything about it. So the technology, advanced technology, what they are creating is in which in every block, whatever information is stored, financial information transaction automatically is validated. So there is no, false information in that. But any other non-financial information, if you are storing into that, that particular information should be audited by the miner in the community. That is their responsibility. So if you're joining an Ethereum community or any other community, in that case, they are the miners, are the people who are going to authenticate that with the advanced programming, maybe AI, machine learning, whatever they are using to identify and verify that. Okay.
And also, ma'am, one more question.
Mhm.
See, when miners are authenticating the information, or they are speaking about the truth of the information hidden in the block,
Mhm.
there is a concept of POW, proof of work.
Yes, proof of work.
And to create this proof of work, they are solving many complex mathematical computations.
Yes.
How solving those complex mathematical computations will authenticate my information, and why I should pay them for solving complex maths problems, ma'am?
So basically, the proof of work is validated using the technology, which is again the AI and all. And that is the reason why these voluntary transaction fees are paid. So these miner and the community, the work of them, their work is basically at the block. And it is not only one person who is doing this. Your proof of work, so the mathematical model which is created is based on AI. And this AI will consider the data or the pattern. It will try to detect a pattern in your data. And if there is a pattern which matches the pattern of the legal, work pattern, the proof of work will work in that. If it is not matching, there is an anomalies in that, then there is an alert. Then they try to use some other kind of a technology, which I don't have a knowledge on much on this. And these technology basically try to identify any hidden pattern or anything like that, which indicates towards a the false data or the fake data is being provided to you. So something like that, what I understand from my knowledge or from my sessions what I have attended, it works like that. So the proof of work itself is auditing work, is basically a AI trained model on the identifying the pattern and matching the pattern and detecting the anomalies in that. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So basically what we were talking about is about the cryptocurrency. The cryptocurrency, technically, just like unlike any traditional currency, the cryptocurrency are impossible to duplicate and counterfeit. Okay. And I was there in that particular portion. So what happens is that the coin themselves are, as I said, in alphanumeric sequences, and it get assigned to an account, a digital wallet, and that digital wallet is used to keep track of the transfer, the inflow and the out of. So whenever there is a cryptocurrency or bought from a miner, or maybe you are a miner, you have generated, that cryptocurrency gets stored in your digital wallet, and your digital wallet will create the block of the inflow and outflow of these cryptocurrency used from that. So this is a very important thing about cryptocurrency from a technical perspective, that it is nearly impossible. So these cryptocurrencies are stored, recorded using a blockchain. Every transfer involving something like Bitcoin or is tracked over a time. These transactions and transfers are anonymous again I'm telling you. So unfortunately, cryptocurrency early on very becoming something which are basically used nowadays or most of the time by criminals in the black market or in the gray market. So that is also one way where we have to tackle this, and there should be a technology to involve, because they are also doing a transaction using this. So there is a lot of regulatory scrutiny which is required, lot of framework which is required to go around the cryptocurrency and the use of cryptocurrency on the sites. So this is a part of the government regulator, that they have to come up with these kinds. Now cryptocurrency, because there is a limited number of coins which is getting created. So like I said, that 21 million Bitcoins is already created. So and the ETF also out there, the currencies. So the SEC, the Security Exchange Commission, even SEB in our case in India, have approved ETF that lot of cryptocurrency can be generated, but a certain amount can be generated. So there's an understanding between the ETF and the SEC on that. So I was talking to some of the people in the finance sector, because I'm not so good in finance, but I spoke to some of the finance professor in IIM Bangalore and all. And I was asking them that, because there were a lot of people who were saying that you should invest in cryptocurrency. So I asked them, is it good? What's the future or what is the scope? And they told me that actually there is a very limited investment option on cryptocurrency landscape and on the asset that investor can look at, like for example, stock, bond, or traditional currency, etc. But if you want to really do it, you should have a good knowledge about it. You should really dig deep into your cryptocurrency knowledge and understand about it, and also understand about the liquidity risk or some other kind of risk which can happen in these cases when you're doing a cryptocurrency trading. Now let us understand, and it will answer most of your question, because I tried to understand this with AWS. So AWS has recently added a tool called AWS Managed Blockchain. Those people who are doing cloud computing can see that, even other people also can see that. So because this is an emerging technology, so they need to have these tools. So I told you that basically these are the peer-to-peer network. That means you need to have a peer network community to mine and trade on cryptocurrency. And secondly, it is very important for a portion which we discovered in this is the encrypted decentralized ledger, which is spread asymmetrically across the network, which you're creating, the peer-to-peer. And the third important point to remember is a strong goal of frictionless transaction between two peers. So in a community, when you are doing peer-to-peer transfer, in the network, everybody knows. It's not only the sender and receiver will know about the transaction. The transaction between two peers are distributed and shared in the decentralized ledger. Okay. So the intent of the blockchain is to provide trusted transaction between parties. And the promise of the blockchain is to remove our current trust keeper on the transaction, increase the cost of transaction by requiring a payment for rolls. So governments are considering two largest trust broker standing as an actor between the financial transaction and these kinds of transactions, the Bitcoin. So currently the blockchain technology requires a lot of advancement, evolution, and government regulation raised on this because it's a new technology. So there's the new framework, and the current framework is based on paper currencies and all. So maybe soon. So AWS also has started a service as called AWS Managed Blockchain. So this is the where I'm going to show you the screenshot of those site of AWS. So I'm going to just show you. So when you go to a AWS console, the management console, you can type in block letter and select and type and search for Amazon Managed Blockchain. And this will take you to the home page where you can create a peer-to-peer network. Okay. So this is how the page will look like, but this is a paid service. Okay. You have to pay for it. And you create a network. So let's see, how do you create a network in this? So I'm going to leave Ethereum is actually very popular. I told you there are two platforms which you can also use. Apart from that, one is Hyperledger Fabric and other is Ethereum. And network addition, one more is there, that's called Starter though. So what we can do is we can just name here. You can use this here. They're giving you the platform. Ethereum, just a minute. I'm getting disturbed. I'll just ask them to say. So you have to create a network and you have to choose either the Amazon is giving you two platforms, Hyperledger Fabric. These are very, popular one, or Ethereum, which is also very popular. And so you can create a name of the network. You can give any name of the network. So this particular name, what you can give is anything what you want to give. For example, you can give AWS blockchain or your name as blockchain. Like I can give Anita Managed Blockchain. Like this you can do. And then you have a voting policy here. So what you can do is you can leave the voting policy at default and select the next in this. When you select and scroll up, so this is your peer-to-peer member configuration, which you need to do here. So you can choose the creator of the blockchain. So because maybe if we choose Hyperfabric certificate authority configuration, so you need an alphanumeric login ID, which you need to create, and a password. And once you do that, you can create next. And once you create next, so you have to select the username, alphanumerics here, user ID, and your password, which should be very strong. It has certain rules to create that. You can go through this and then you click on next. When you click on next, you can just select, you can review the creation of this. All of it looks very good now. So you can select a create network and member, and we begin to go out. Now create the first member, which is the initial node, and invite new member to this fabric of blockchain user now using this. So I can select invitation here. I'll show you. So you have created a network, which is this, for example, and then you select invitation and invite other people to the network. And once that is done, your peer-to-peer network is created. Okay. And once the member joins, those who have this knowledge and all, this is how it will look. And when you are inviting people, those who are joining this network, they can be, we can begin a trustless transaction on this network. So this is as simple as to start an Amazon managed blockchain. So Amazon managed blockchain will allow you to create a managed blockchain peer-to-peer community or a network where the people can join and start doing this transaction. So the two platforms they are providing you, Ethereum and Hyperledger Fabric. Are you clear on this? Any questions so far? Please try it out. But then see, creation of the network is not only the thing in the Amazon website, web services. This is just you're creating and inviting. If the miners, you need to have a miner joining in your community, then that makes difference. You need to have a trader of cryptocurrency joining in your community. Then only it makes difference. Then only this peer-to-peer network is going to work and you will create a blockchain. Okay, so that is one thing. So now I'm going to talk about the other technology. Let me see the time. Okay, we have time. Now we're going to talk about the technology which is widely used, which is called the metaverse technology. So let me open the PPT for that. Just give me a second. Okay, so now we are going to talk about metaverse. Recently, I'm just writing a paper on metaverse technology in HR. So maybe if it is published, I will share the link with you all. Are you able to see the screen?
It's visible, ma'am, but no audio.
Yeah, there's no audio. It is only pictures. You can see now.
Yeah, ma'am, you can see.
Okay, so let's talk about metaverse. So when we are talking about metaverse, actually metaverse is the simulated 3D, environment which it creates around you, so that you experience. It's a kind of a experiential technology. Like how do you see the 3D movies nowadays? And similarly, this metaverse create those kind of a three-dimensional virtual world around you. And using that particular world, you feel that you are a part of this, right? So the first time when the metaverse was created, basically what has happened? So the world metaverse is creating an immersive experience for the user using the mixed technology, which uses AI, which uses AR, augmented reality, which is a mixture of virtual reality and mixed reality, which is augmented reality and mixed reality, virtual reality, sorry, and also the sensors and many, many things, right? So what is happening here is the metaverse, the first time when the Mark Zuckerberg came and he started talking about metaverse, he showed, because he was the first person who gained the attention to this word by changing the name of Facebook to metaverse, though people still call it Facebook. But he changed his company name to as a metaverse, and he created 36,000 job immediately open it for those people who know the technology. So today the skill which is the companies are looking for is the skill in metaverse also, where you can give an immersive experience to a customer, especially in marketing, or to the user, especially in social media marketing, so that experience thing. So you're creating an experience, you are creating an immersive experience for the people with the help of these mixed technologies, which includes even AI. So, so as I said, the metaverse create a immersive, 3D, three-dimensional, environment around you, where you feel that you're a part of the environment, and you immerse in that environment and you get a real feeling. Like for example, you may feel that you are on a roller coaster, and you can get that kind of experience while you are not. So those kinds of experience it is building in. So when you're talking about metaverse, how do we do it? So what is happening in the world of the metaverse? People create their avatar. So you can go to any of the site. There are a lot of sites available. You can just check it online. And on those online things, you can create avatar. There is one site called DID. I use it for creating avatar. You can upload your picture also, and you can create your avatar, which can you can upload your own audio or your own vocals, and you can make the avatar speak, or else you can choose any of the pictures which is available, and you can make the avatar wear any kind of a dresses, shoes, dress it the way you want, and you can make your avatar visit those places on your behalf. So virtually you feel that you are experiencing that. Now the question which comes is metaverse revolutionizing the workplace? Is it? Now Mark Zuckerberg said, when he's relaunched Facebook as metaverse, he said that metaverse is going to be the future of internet. So that is the truth. Metaverse is a next generation of internet, which uses the element of virtual reality, augmented reality, yes, online games, social media, even cryptocurrency. So meta, and in the cryptocurrency in blockchain, we have NFT, which I spoke about, non-fungible tokens. So metaverse is an interconnected virtual experience. You can now start reimagining your world, a virtual world around you. So how the future of work is done? Let's understand first how this word came. In 1992, there was a novel written by Neil Stephenson. He wrote a sci-fi, scientific fiction novel called Snow Crash. And he coined the word in that book called metaverse. And the first time people heard about that word. And in that novel, he portrayed that metaverse will be the successor of internet. And he was a person who imagined that how a imaginary world will be created, which will become an obsession for the people, especially used by the companies. And it will also be widely used as a future of the work. So the future of the work will continue to unfold with the metaverse. So when we are talking about the future of the world, the transformation is already happening. Metaverse is evolving. The technology is evolving. Recently, I was reading that Accenture has come out with something called work of job verse or something like that, where they recruited software developers on the metaverse environment, where the people who are the interview and the interviewer will come in the avatar. Why they did so? I was reading that article and says that most of the time we feel that when a person goes for an interview, however knowledge or whatever knowledge he has, he may feel nervous. And because of the interviewer personality, sometimes they get so nervous and the way the interviewer asks, they are not able to identify the real talent in the person. The person is not able to express and sell himself. Yes. So what happens? This particular, yeah. So Accenture came out with this job verse where they conducted a fair and they asked all the people who are the applicant to come in the virtual form. And the interviewer also was in the virtual form. So whatever you are talking, the virtual avatar is talking. Whatever the question is asked by the interviewer is told to you and you answer, sitting in your house. So in this way, they could actually identify the real talent. So in HR, metaverse is even used for a training purpose. In the school, metaverse are used. So there are three web technology, which is transforming the internet. The metaverse, which is a form of AI, IoTs, virtual reality and augmented and gaming world. The future is transformed. So these organizations are taking metaverse very seriously. There's a huge transformation which is happening in each function of the management, especially in the function of marketing and HR. So because the metaverse can help in creating a remote and hybrid culture and bring a transition where employee will experience what is happening now. The developers are sitting at home and working. There's a kind of a saturation, depression, mental anxiety is coming because we are all social animals. We are not going and working with others and able to share our grievances with them, with our colleague. If we are trying to share with our family members, they won't understand because they don't work in the similar environment. So what companies are doing in order to deal with these problems, they are giving an immersive experience to this. They're creating an immersive virtual space now for these people, for collaboration, for creativity, for growth, for teamwork, and for making the work more interesting for them. So they feel like that they are really working in the office environment with a huge, nice building and in the atmosphere, which gives them that kind of a motivation that they're working with their own. And even their employee virtual avatar, they can see and interact the way they sit in the office and they do that. So HR people are using metaverse already in the terms of job fair, in terms of hiring people, in terms of training people, in terms of creating a virtual work environment. So all these are happening. Conferences are happening on the virtual, on metaverse. The companies like Coca-Cola, Nike, P&G, Louis Vuitton, Ferrari, McDonald's, all these companies, Accenture, just now I told you, these companies are using metaverse to give a new experience to their customers. Even the financial institute like JP Morgan Chase, they also come into metaverse. So what they are doing is basically they are trying to give through the metaverse, an immersive experience to the customers of the bank. So So this is how the metaverse is evolving. And there is a huge opportunity lying in this place. As I said, that Apple and even the Facebook, they have now new position, around more than 36,000 new position for people who know the metaverse technology, who know how to create this metaverse experience for the people. So let us look into one of the very proud moments for India. There's a lot of metaverse concerts which are happening around the world. So, big pop culture singers and all those people, they have come, they have conducted the virtual concerts using metaverse. But the concert which is done by one of the Indian singer, Dilair Mehndi, gathered around 3 million people to watch that concert and participate in that concert live using a metaverse experience. So Dilair Mehndi had done this. This is in the world news. It was there. And just few months back, it happened. So I'll just play the video and show you that he has done the metaverse concert. He sold lot of NFT, the non-fungible tokens during those metaverse. So you can see now this.
के बाद सिर्फ 15 मिनट के लिए दलेर जी आपके साथ क्रूज शिप मैप में लाइव इंटरेक्शन करेंगे। आपके सवाल आप वहां उनसे पूछ सकते, मत भूलना आप अपना अवतार बॉटम लेफ्ट कॉर्नर के सेटिंग्स बटन में मेटावर्स। आप सबको हैप्पी रिपब्लिक डे। मैं आपका होस्ट सुखवंत आपके लिए हाजिर हूँ। हम कुछ ही टाइम में दलेर जी को इनवाइट करने वाले हैं। दलेर जी को वेलकम करने से पहले आप अपना अवतार चेंज करना मत भूलना। आप अपना अवतार बॉटम लेफ्ट कॉर्नर के सेटिंग्स बटन में से चेंज कर सकते हो। कॉन्सर्ट के बाद सेटिंग्स के होम बटन से आप अपने अपार्टमेंट में और मेटावर्स के दूसरे वर्ल्ड्स में जाके एंजॉय कर सकते हो। कॉन्सर्ट के बाद सिर्फ 15 मिनट के लिए दलेर जी आपके साथ क्रूज शिप मैप में लाइव इंटरेक्शन करेंगे। आपके सवाल आप वहां उनसे पूछ सकते हो और उनके साथ इंटरेक्ट कर सकते हो। आर यू गाइस रेडी? लेट्स नाउ इनवाइट द आइकॉनिक पॉप स्टार ऑफ इंडिया, दलेर मेहंदी।
सत श्री अकाल पार्टी नाइट इंडिया के अपने मेटावर्स में मैं दिलेर मेहंदी आप सभी को वेलकम करता हूं। इस कॉन्सर्ट में प्रीमियम एनएफटीज मैं आपके लिए ड्रॉप करता रहूंगा। स्टे ट्यून्ड टिल द एंड। कॉन्सर्ट लॉन्च 26 जनवरी इवेंट को रब की ब्लेसिंग के साथ शुरू करते हैं। आर यू रेडी? सत साच
So you can see these people are your avatar. If you are joining the concert live, you can create your avatar and you can select a dance form and dance in this concert. So now normal concert, what do? You just go and observe physically, but you are not participating. Here you are participating in the help of your, avatar in the concert, and you can choose. If you're not a dancer, you can choose a dance form. And there are a lot of NFT which will be thrown in this concert by the Dilair Mehndi, and you can, buy that. So that is a thing. So the name of the people are also appearing who has created their avatar and floating in the concert. See here how one person is changing the dance form for himself. So these settings you can do, you can just change the dance form. Any avatar can do that. You can see that how users are changing the dance form. They can change their avatar also and join the concert.
कोई भी क्वेश्चन चैट में डाल के
डे की ढेर सारी शुभकामनाएं। बहुत आज डिजिटल इंडिया ने इंटरनेशनल मेटावर्स के वर्चुअल इवेंट के साथ कंधे से कंधा मिलाया। इस कंसर्ट को अटेंड करने के लिए थैंक यू सो मच। आप सभी को रिपब्लिक डे की ढेर सारी शुभकामनाएं। जय हिंद।
हाय फ्रेंड्स, आई होप आपने इवेंट को बहुत एंजॉय किया, बट पिक्चर अभी बाकी है मेरे दोस्तों। आप अभी दलेर जी के साथ लाइव इंटरेक्शन क्रूज शिप के मैप में कर सकते हैं।
ಸಾರಿ ಟು ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬ್ ಯು. ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅವ್ರ ಮನೇಲಿ ಇದು ಪವರ್ ಕಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಸೊ ಸೆಷನ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. ಎಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸೆಷನ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. 2:1 ಅದಲ್ಲ? ಈ 2:1 4 ನೀಡ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ? Just 4.
ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು.
8